time for another round of Brandy. Candid conversations over cocktails about all things brand with your hosts, Reilly Newman and Scott Saunders, the brand developers behind Motif Brands.
Happy New Year and welcome back to another round. If you're listening to this, the chances are that you probably did get a gift card.
Yeah, the holidays are done. Gifts were given. Did you get any gift cards for the holidays?
I got a couple. Yeah, I got some coffee. I think. Oh, and then PlayStation.
Yeah, I got a couple. I got two Sony PlayStation store cards, which I'm ecstatic about because they got all these deals going on. You spend money. So I'm loading up on my video games for this coming year. So I'm excited about that. But that's kind of leading into the subject of today. And I kind of came across something that I wasn't aware of really was that the financial side of the gift card, or in this case, like the prepaid cards industry.
Yes, I think kicking it off, kind of first going over gift cards and being like gift cards are common, right? And you most likely in your kitchen or in your wallet or something, you have a couple of gift cards floating around, maybe in your car that either you haven't touched or they have a remaining balance on them and they're just sitting there. It could be $1, it could be $5, whatever it is. It's kind of like money just floating around, really. And like I said, about 75% of Americans received a gift card for Christmas. We give them for birthdays, all kinds of reasons, or even just for fun, for teacher gifts, all that kind of stuff. And about 43% of Americans have at least one unused gift card, which is kind of crazy. And then they average that out. I think it was Bankrate or whatever that did that stat. And so you have almost half of Americans having at least one unused gift card.
Or not even, it could be that you've got a remaining balance, but it's not that much. It could be $5-10 and you're like, I got a $6 card. I spent some of. I got a little bit of change back in the amount remaining on the gift card, but until my next purchase, where I'm going to put that towards it and then pay the difference, it's just like one of those things of like, oh, well, I'll spend it someday. It's a kind of down the road because the change doesn't come back in cash change to you. It comes back as unused credit on the gift card.
Yeah, and then in that same study, they found out that the average total of the unused spend is about like $244 per person. So that could be across, at least one gift card, multiple gift cards. And so it adds up, you're looking at $250. And it really does for these companies like Target, they have merchandise cards, gift cards, or Starbucks, or any of the other brands that really rely on this. It adds up because it's actually this is essentially money in the bank for them.
Right. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but like you brought up Starbucks. So, I mean, like with Starbucks, they have you can get a gift card to give to someone, right? And that's depletes. And then they have their like cards that you load up, right? It's like a prepaid system, and then you get the rewards, and after 10 times, whatever, you get a free drink or something like that.
Yeah. So they did have the whole gold card stuff that they had that you could reload, and now that's pretty much morphed into their very, very successful, the Starbucks app. And so that works the same way where you can put gift cards on there and you can reload those. Just like if you did have a gift card, you could use it and then reload it and keep that gift card going. But then you put it on the app and then you get stars. So they have a whole kind of currency exchange, kind of like miles or points you get with a credit card where, okay, you buy a Starbucks drink, you get 2 stars or whatever it is. And then those stars add up.
And then you get a free drink after so many stars. So it's like there's the incentive to use it, and the convenience of having it preloaded, and then there's benefits. But the secret behind the curtain reveal that surprised me was what companies like Starbucks does with all this money that they get in advance. So it's essentially they're getting it. It's not like, oh, I sold a cup of coffee, we got money. That money covers for that purchase made at the time. This is gift cards and these prepaid cards and systems that they have. Is they utilize this to take capital and invest it and receive interest. Essentially, you're giving them a loan.
Right. And so you think about Starbucks, it's estimated that they have about 1.8 or 1.9 billion with a B.
$1.9 billion
of customer loaded money going in. And that could be you bought a gift card for someone for $5, $10 or whatever, and that adds to that amount.
And even if it's a couple of weeks before they use it, it's still there's that time from when you bought it that we're talking about here.
And I guess on like the tax side of it, Starbucks, I was reading about it, and when it first hits their balance sheet, that's a liability, which I could see that because it is essentially it's owed, right?
Yeah, they owe people
a
goods
service
for the money they've received in advance.
So they don't count that as revenue right away. It doesn't throw things off like that. But like in 2024, they did realize over 200 million in unused money from the cards. So whatever, they have a certain, $1 to $2 billion of money going towards them for gift cards. In 2024, they counted the unused amount, which they probably have a certain expiration. Okay, it's been sitting for this long. Then it goes into a realized gain, which would be revenue for them. And that's, in the tune of 200 million of that money just sitting there, where then they finally get to go, okay, we can count it as revenue. But
the revenue that comes in, aren't they, like, in a sense, investing it?
Right.
Into some system that is gaining interest for them, all that money that they're sitting on.
And then they can reapply or redistribute it, because it's pretty much, like Scott was saying, it's an interest-free loan that consumers are giving them, going, hey, I'll give you this much for some service or some product down the road. Don't worry about it now. And then just like a bank, they can reinvest that into something.
The money that Starbucks made off of the investment, the percentage investment, the interest earned on that money in advance you give Starbucks, they're giving you in return not the profit from that investment, but a cup of coffee. And we're not bringing this up to go, don't buy these, this is a scam. It's nothing like that. It's just more understanding how it works, and then what are some of the benefits, and how does it speak into brand in a bigger picture? And
statistically, across all like gift cards, about 3 to 5% go unused. So that's across the board, where you can count on. So even like that, whatever, 2 billion that Starbucks gets, they can pretty much, guesstimate, okay, about 3% of that is ours to keep, but they need to let it time out. And so it's kind of interesting when you think about going, okay, if there's this much money going in, and they're pretty much getting almost like pre-order money, where it's like, okay, this money's here, we can use it, and it's helping them on different fronts, and even using it as a liability, leveraging that, they can then start thinking ahead and applying this money that's future forward. And what's cool about this is that I think it's worth highlighting is that this is different than doing like a sale, is that when you do sales or discounts, you're pushing potential future purchases into the now at a cheaper rate, right? So you're going, okay, we'll do 30% off. That's going to convince some buyers to then purchase now. And then the sacrifice, though, although that looks good in the immediate, we're like, wow, we got so much more money from doing that sale. You sacrificed not only those future sales of potential people who were thinking about buying, but also sacrifice them at a lower rate. The Starbucks gift card, or a gift card in general, almost works opposite, where you're like, okay, I'm trading them this potential future product for money now, but also it works opposite, because most likely that coffee is going to be slightly more expensive down the road, or that Frappuccino. Right. Frappuccinos have only gotten more expensive. Yeah. So if you wait on a gift card, your gift card's actually losing value, because it's not an exact exchange. That $5 is going to go less as far as it would. So it's really interesting, just kind of like and I'm always fascinated by like the psychology of it, of gift cards, or even like miles or points on credit cards and all of that, because it's so much in our lives. Like any credit card you have probably does have points or some type of little gimmick where they're going, hey, you spend this much on gas and we'll give you 2% or something that's like ridiculously low on points coming back. And as a brand, it's like, okay, well, what does that mean? And Scott said it, like, it's not, you're not trying to trick people. That's not the point here. It's to trick people, but it's actually looking at the value of going, okay, what makes people trust Starbucks so much, or be willing to give Starbucks money in the present for a future. Like the question is, if you're a small business, does your customer trust you, your brand, right? The perception of your business, do they trust your brand enough to prepay for it? And it kind of speaks into, like, for instance, when you come into a situation where you come across a new service or product, you're searching for some, whether it's software, whether it's a solution for whatever you need. And a lot of times you come across these new ones, you've read reviews, and you come across, and it's like, per month, right? Versus, you save a little bit money if you already lock in and do a year in advance and stuff. And on a new product, new brand, a new customer, that's a hard pill to swallow, because you're like, well, what if I don't like it? What if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't deliver as it's promised? There's no trust in that with a new customer. So they're not going to immediately jump into business models you have of, well, buy more or lock in, commit more
when there's no trust established with the brand.
Right. And I feel like the whole commitment aspect is a huge part of it, just because of the ask, which that's what Nassim Taleb writes about and he wrote like the Black Swan and stuff, but he always talks about like skin in the game. And that's where it's like, if you can get customers to go, oh yeah, I'll commit to a year and save a little bit, it's a good trade-off, because they're putting more skin in the game, because now they're that much more committed to it and really probably going to actually use the service and do that, because they're now more in it with the company, right? So rather than a customer going, oh, I just want 1 month of it, or I want a trial, they're going to be kind of less loyal or willing to actually try to make it work. So there's trade-off to it. But then you also have like the freemium model where, okay, you get 7 days for free of the premium service, and then you're hoping that the customer gets hooked on the premium features, so then they don't downgrade to the basic or whatever it could be. That's what you see a lot like on subscriptions and stuff like Peacock or Disney Plus and stuff, where they try to get you hooked on all the premium. But I think it is interesting when you start thinking about going, okay, with a brand, if this is about trust, and yes, some of these companies like Amazon, when you do a return with Amazon, sometimes the refund, they go, oh, just put it back in the Amazon credits or whatever they have it, where it's on your Amazon wallet. So then it's within the ecosystem, and then you're applying that. Apple does that with the App Store. You have a little wallet and it applies to the apps.
What I love is with even just the principle of the idea of buying services in advance, buying things in advance, like it's that kind of commitment as a consumer. And what are the perks and what are the benefits? And I think, if you're going to like look at trying to up your game a bit as a brand, and maybe you're establishing that trust, but you're not capitalizing on that trust, like in the way some of these bigger companies are, does that mean you need to run out and, have a gift card? Maybe not. It just depends. What kind of service and product you have. And, it'd be silly if you're service-based, if you're, if you service your county as an electrician, and I've got this brand, Acme Electrics or whatever it is, to sell gift cards. Well, people can buy a gift card and then they can give it to the family member. So next time they need an electrician, that doesn't make sense by any means.
Just in different ways. I feel like you could do it a service, because in service terms, this would be a retainer. Like if you're a consultant, is a retainer, or like what a lot of us pay for is insurance, or even like at Walmart when they go, hey, do you want to buy insurance for whatever you're buying, something like technology, and you can add insurance to it. There's an ongoing monthly fee that's essentially for future-proofing the product. So just like you're future-proofing a future purchase at Starbucks with buying something now, you're kind of guaranteeing that delivery of product and or service. So it's weird when you start kind of going, okay, how can my business benefit from this, and start using kind of this intangible future purchasing? It's kind of, to me, it's kind of fun to play with, because you're going, okay, if I can get someone to buy in the immediate and buy in the future, how do I start toying with that? Because now you're playing with different time scales of not only purchasing behavior, but also just those patterns of going, how do I help them kind of like think down the road and start kind of almost like budgeting towards spending money, like telling the dollars what to do, like a budget should, towards a certain purchase.
Yeah. And again, the hinge of this door on this subject is really the trust issue that your brand has, and kind of we've talked about trust is kind of a core thing that helps separate great brands from just okay brands. And just a reminder, some of the things that you can do. If you're like going, okay, well, what can I do to boost trust? It's again being consistent with your brand. How's your customer service? Because that's something that's huge. That as problems inevitably arise with product or service and customers. How do you handle that? That's paramount. And if you're clunky, if your system is clunky, if it's not streamlined, if people feel like it's a headache, that lowers the trust value.
Most of the time when you do think of, let's say you're a restaurant or a retailer and you're wanting to sell more gift cards, the gift cards, you always kind of think of who's giving it first off, right? Okay, when someone does give out this gift card to somewhere, or I give someone a gift card to Starbucks, what does that say about me? What does it say about the person and what I think of them? It's just different, right? You're thinking about other things. If I was a restaurant, I would do like a gift card or pseudo kind of like membership for date nights. It's like, okay, you can apply for this and you get one date night a month, right?
Yeah.
And it's $100 a month and you pay for this. It's not only reminds you to be a good spouse or a good dater, but now you have this ongoing, it's revenue that was pretty much not found before, and now you're giving them more reason. So I guess my point in this is that the trust is built when you give more purpose behind the purchase. Like just like everyone, 75% of Americans received a gift card because it was Christmas, right? That was the reason.
The incentive.
Yeah, the incentive and the purpose, and like I always talk about, like the mode of it. Going, oh, I'm a gift giver, so I'm giving this gift. Go, no, now give a gift card or membership for date nights at a restaurant or a bar or whatever, and that can create a whole thing. Or even like coffee date nights. You can have a coffee, and that's ongoing.
Like with anything we preach about, it's got to make sense for the specifics of your business, the business model you have, or where you want to take your brand.
Yeah.
And so while we talk about these various components, don't just keep adding to your laundry list of things to do and implement just because, again, Starbucks is doing it and they're making money off of it.
Like we always talk about is like lifetime value, is that I think gift cards, just like memberships and stuff, is that sure some gift cards are given just out of guessing or going, oh, I think they like coffee, so I'll give them a gift card, or it's a white elephant gift or something. But just like with memberships, I think it's key to that lifetime value of building. Okay, this person obviously has interest and intent in shopping somewhere, even so much so that someone gave them a gift card to my store or to my restaurant. So there's a clear indicator that this person either has interest or has expressed interest in eating at your restaurant or enjoys coming there, but maybe they can't afford it or whatever it is, right? There's so many different things that can go into that. So even seeing gift cards as that clear indication of, okay, this person, there's something where a third party person thought that there's some connection here, right? It's like dating. Like, oh, they set me up on this date and they think that we're a good match, so there must be something here.
And on a final note too is if you're trying to think through how you could implement something like this, giving some sort of membership thing that is outside the normal scope of what you do. Only reason is an example came to mind that it's like I think 2 Christmases ago, I got my wife it's like a candle subscription. It's like a really good candle company. They make fabulous candles, but we've pledged. So it recurs every month. I get billed and they ship her the new candle for that month. But it's a unique fragrance, unique blend that's only available through the membership, through the subscription. Cool. So I'm not prepaying, but it's giving me access to a product that if you walked into their store, you would not find on the shelf.
That's cool.
And so again, if there's ways that you can add added value to a product or service that's only available if you have this, opt-in system where it's a commitment base, whether it's auto renews, whether it's prepay in advance, whatever it is, that might be something that is greater incentive too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. And to wrap things up, please check out the link below. If you have questions about brand or marketing, you can put it in our forum and we'll answer it on our next episode.
Absolutely.
And we will talk with you on our next episode of Brandy. Cheers.